Hello everyone. Welcome to Live Healthy with Bev. I'm Bev Haynes, and today I'm in the kitchen whipping up a terrific recipe for tofu feta. Do you love feta cheese on your salad? Well, today we are going to make it a plant-based tofu feta. And I got this recipe, I'm stealing it from the Jazzy Vegetarian. I got that from her website, but I'm making a few changes to it, just a few little tweaks. So that's where you can get the original if you like. We'll have the recipe up for you in just a little bit. But it's all about the tofu. How many of you like tofu? I've heard people say, you know what? Tofu just doesn't have any taste. It doesn't taste good. Well, no, it's very bland, but that's the good thing. It will adapt to whatever sauce or seasoning or whatever you do to it. You know, if you're used to eating meat and seasoning your meat, season your tofu the same way. And the really good thing is there are so many different types of tofus. There's the very soft that you can use for sauces or puddings or cream pies, and working your way up to the medium firm and then the firm and then the extra firm for tofu scrambles and other things like that. So today I'm using the extra firm tofu. And here's my block of tofu. I've washed my hands, got my block of tofu. What is so fantastic about tofu is its protein content, made from soybeans. And so half a cup, I'm losing my voice here. Half a cup of tofu is going to get you almost 22 grams of protein. So if you are thinking, you know, I'd really like to go plant-based, but where am I going to get my protein? You don't even have to worry about it. Tofu's got all the protein you need. Plus, if you're eating nuts, you're going to get a goodly amount of protein from there. Beans, a fantastic amount of protein from all beans, including the soybean. And the really nice thing about soybeans is that they are a complete protein. That means they have all 9 of the essential amino acids that your body can't make on its own. Tofu, complete. People will say, well, the meat is complete. Hey, the tofu is complete as well, without the other things that happen to us when we're eating animal-based products. There's a lot of diseases that we can get, but when you're going plant-based, it's going to correct, reverse all of our health conditions. So eat them up, eat them up. Oh, and another thing, I know a lot of people are worried about the phytoestrogens in tofu. Don't have to worry about that either. That's not going to spike your own estrogen. It's actually going to help with your estrogen so that you're not having too much of your estrogen running around in your body. The phytoestrogens are very weak and they are beneficial to your body. Studies show that eating soy-based foods will help to decrease your risk for breast cancer, for example, and for other ailments as well. If your kidneys are in bad shape because of diabetes or chronic kidney disease, you want to start to go plant-based, because the animal-based products are really going to wreak havoc with your kidney function. Once you start to go plant-based, once you start to eat tofu and beans and other things, that's going to be so much kinder and gentler on your kidneys. So be encouraged to try tofu. And today we're going to make it into a tofu feta cheese. This is so delicious. Okay, so here we go. I've got my block of tofu. I took it out of the plastic, I rinsed it off, and then I dried it using some paper towel. Got as much water out of it as I possibly could. Tell you what, let me move over these things so that I have more of a workspace in the middle of my table. Okay, so I've got my tofu here. I'm gonna play with my tofu is what I'm gonna do. And actually, I think I need to be even more central. So, watch this. You're just gonna rip it apart and crumble it. Crumble it into, you know, feta cheese kind of crumbles. You can use a fork if you don't like playing with your food, but I like that tactile feel, just getting, involved with my food. So I'm just squishing it between my fingers, not totally squishing, I'm leaving chunks because we want to have that feta cheese kind of consistency, that texture to this dish. And then we're going to add our various spices, a little bit of oil. We're going to add some miso, some lemon juice to have that tangy kind of flavor. Here we go. Okay. Oh, nope. I still have a little bit left to do here. Now, I'm using a full brick of tofu. The original recipe on the Jazzy Vegetarian one was using 8 ounces. So I've increased the ingredients for everything here accordingly to this is actually 12 ounces, 350 grams that you'll get in a regular brick of tofu. So it's about 12 ounces. Okay, so I've got some nice crumbles. Of course, some of it is really tiny, but I've got some really nice crumbles in there. All right, let me just kind of clean off my fingers here before I proceed. Okay, what we're going to do next is we're going to add 2 tablespoons of oil. And I've got the extra virgin olive oil here. When you're buying your oil, trying to get this stuff off my fingers. When you're buying your oil, you want to make sure you're buying it in a dark colored glass. Why? Because you don't want it to oxidize too readily. Every time you open up this oil, oxidizing a bit more. And so any kind of light that gets through the glass is going to oxidize it as well. So you want a dark colored glass. And of course you want the extra virgin. Not just the virgin, you want the extra virgin olive oil. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put my herbs on first, and then I'm going to put the oil on, because if I put the oil on first, it's just going to soak in. So I'm going to put the herbs on first, and then I'm going to put the oil and miso and lemon juice. Okay, so the recipe calls for, let me grab my recipe here. Recipe calls for a 1/4 teaspoon, a 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder. If you're like me, you absolutely adore garlic. We grow garlic. Hubby and I are farmers, along with other things that we do. But you know what? Let me go for the 1/4 teaspoon here. 1/2 teaspoon. Okay, so here's some garlic. I'm going to sprinkle it on there. And also onion powder. So you can tell the two apart. The onion powder is a little bit lighter than the garlic. Let me show you that here. So we've got our garlic, we've got our onion. See the color difference? And of course you can tell by the smell. Okay. So what else am I putting on here? I'm going to put some salt on here as well. So 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I'm using the pink Himalayan salt. Much better than just the regular white table salt, because it still has some trace minerals in it. And I love that pink color. I love the pink color. Okay, so that's looking really good. Now, we've got some miso that we're going to be using. Miso is another soybean product, and this is an aged product, and it's going to give you that umami kind of flavor to your food, that earthiness to it. You won't taste it so much, it's just going to add depth to the food. Now here's what I'm going to do, because it's like this, so I'm going to just add a little bit of the lemon juice to it to help spread it out before I put it onto my tofu, just to help liquefy it a little bit. And that will help it to spread much more easily. Okay. All right. There we go. All right. Now I'm going to add some olive oil. And here we go. I love these spouts that this comes with. Makes it so much easier. And you know what? You don't even have to do 2 full tablespoons. I'm not going to do 2 full tablespoons, maybe 1.5 tablespoons. and we'll see how it goes. All right, and then we also need, I'm going to put about 2 to 3 tablespoons of the lemon juice. Now, lemon juice is so amazing for us. It helps to get rid of mucus, it aids in digestion. So I want this to be nice and tangy, so I'm putting all that lemon juice on there. As well, I'm going to put some, it says a teaspoon of Italian seasoning. I'm going to be using the herbe de Provence. Can you say that in French? Herbe de Provence. When you're using herbs like this that have, flakes, what you want to do is to just rub that between your fingers. If you smell it, it smells wonderful. But once you actually squish it between your fingers and rub it, you're releasing those oils that are in there, and the scent of it is even stronger. So it's just going to make your food even more flavorful. I've got to tell you, when I'm cooking, I really don't use measurements. So it says a teaspoon, but I'm going to put in as much as I think is necessary there. And it's usually more than a teaspoon. Okay, so now I'm going to just kind of gently fold all of this in. Just gently. I'm going to spread around that miso product. All right, it's starting to take shape there. It's got the nice herbe de Provence happening. And I can smell the garlic and the onion. You don't want to toss it too violently, too vigorously, because you don't want to mash it up. You just want to mix the ingredients. Okay, you know what? I think I want a little bit more of the herbe de Provence. So I'm going to do that same thing and just put it into my palm of my hand, and then I'm going to squish it between my fingers to release all that wonderful aroma. Wonderful, wonderful. That's looking better. I like my feta to be nicely herbed. Okay, looking better, but I want some more. And I'm thinking I might want some more garlic as well, and onion powder. Garlic is so fantastic for you. Antiviral, antifungal, antiparasitic, anti-everything, anti-friend. If your friends don't like your garlic breath, you know what I have to say to that? Time to get some new friends, y'all. That's what I say. Okay, so this is looking really good. Let me try a little bit. Very nice, but you know what? I want it a little more juicy. So I'm pouring in the rest of the lemon juice that I had, plus I'm going to add a little bit more. And I didn't use the full 2 tablespoons of oil, so I'm just going to put a little bit more of that in as well. But just adjust it to what you like. If you don't like it as juicy, if you like it a bit drier, do whatever you want. But this is such an easy recipe to pull together. Okay, let me try it now. Hold on. Perfect. Okay, so let me show you. This is what it looks like. This is what it looks like. It looks just like regular feta. What you want to do is to put it in your fridge and let it kind of mix and mingle for about 2 hours before you use it. And I tell you, when you put this on your salad, let me do that right now to show you. We've got our lovely salad right here, but just look how this kicks it up a notch when we add this nicely crumbled tofu. And I've got to tell you, we love this at my home. So look at that now. kicked it up a whole notch, and the flavor is fantastic. All right, guys, that's it for our recipe today. This is a whole series, so I hope you're going to join us whenever we have a new recipe out. This one is so fantastic because it's so good for us. The tofu, we've learned, is fantastic. It's got lots of protein. It's got other minerals and vitamins in it as well. You want to buy the kind that is made with calcium fortified, and also make sure that it's GMO free. You don't want to have any GMO modifications happening with your tofu. So make sure that the package says no GMOs on your tofu, and you'll be good to go. Enjoy this in good health, and I'll see you next time.